We live in a challenging time. The ancient scriptures of India call this age Kali Yuga. It is an era often marked by disagreement, confusion, and a quickening pace of life. People may feel disconnected from their spiritual roots. Material pursuits often overshadow the search for deeper meaning. In such an age, the clamor of the world can be very loud. It can be hard to hear the quiet voice of wisdom within us. This is why timeless spiritual teachings become even more precious. They offer a map to navigate these turbulent times with grace. The Bhagavad Gita is one such source of profound wisdom. Its teachings are like a light that can guide us through darkness. They show us how to find peace even amidst chaos. In the age of Kali, understanding our true selves and our connection to the divine becomes crucial. The Gita speaks directly to the human heart, offering solace and practical guidance. It reminds us that spiritual progress is possible for everyone, regardless of external circumstances. The path it shows is one of courage, understanding, and unwavering faith. One specific practice recommended for this age is called Sankirtana Yajna. This means the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. It is described as a simple yet powerful way to purify the mind and elevate consciousness. Wisdom and intelligence are used here not for complex rituals, but for sincere devotion. By coming together and chanting, individuals can create a spiritual atmosphere. This collective spiritual effort helps to counteract the negative influences of the Kali Yuga. It is a worship that is accessible to all people. The beauty of Sankirtana Yajna lies in its simplicity and its profound effect. It does not require vast knowledge or resources. It only asks for a willing heart and a voice to join in the sacred sound. Through this practice, we can directly connect with the Supreme. This connection helps us to cultivate virtues like love, compassion, and selflessness. In an age where distractions are many, this form of worship offers a direct path to inner peace and spiritual awakening. It is a beacon of hope, showing us how to live a life filled with purpose. The Bhagavad Gita begins on a vast battlefield. It is called Kurukshetra. Two great armies are ready to fight. They are relatives, friends, and teachers, now divided by conflict. King Dhritarashtra, who is blind, sits far from the battle. He asks his minister Sanjaya to tell him what is happening. Sanjaya has a special gift. He can see and hear the events on the battlefield through mystic vision. This sets the stage for the profound dialogue that is about to unfold between Lord Krishna and the warrior Arjuna. Dhritarashtra's blindness is symbolic. It represents a spiritual blindness, an inability to see the truth due to attachment and ignorance. He is anxious about the fate of his sons, the Kauravas. Sanjaya, on the other hand, represents clear perception. He is the impartial observer who will narrate the divine teachings. The entire scene is charged with tension and moral dilemma. This battlefield is not just an external place of war. It is also a representation of the internal conflict that we all face in our lives. Arjuna, the great warrior, stands in his chariot. His charioteer is Lord Krishna, his friend and spiritual guide. As Arjuna looks at the opposing army, he sees his own kinsmen. He sees his beloved teachers and revered elders. His heart is overcome with sorrow and confusion. He does not want to fight. He questions the purpose of a war that would lead to such destruction. This moment of crisis for Arjuna becomes the starting point for the Gita's timeless wisdom. His despair opens the door for Krishna's divine instruction. This inner turmoil of Arjuna is something we can all relate to. We often face situations where our duties conflict with our personal feelings. We grapple with difficult choices that have significant consequences. The battlefield of Kurukshetra can be seen as the battlefield of our own minds. Here we fight against our own negative tendencies, our doubts, and our fears. The Bhagavad Gita, through the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, teaches us how to navigate these internal battles with clarity and courage, transforming conflict into spiritual growth. Lord Krishna begins his teachings by addressing Arjuna's deep sorrow. Arjuna is grieving over the thought of killing his relatives. Krishna explains the fundamental nature of reality. He tells Arjuna that the true self, the soul or Atma, is eternal. It is never born and it never dies. The body is temporary, but the soul within is indestructible. This understanding is central to the Gita's message. It helps to lift the burden of grief and fear from Arjuna's shoulders. Krishna uses a beautiful metaphor to explain this. He says that just as a person discards old, worn-out clothes and puts on new ones, the soul similarly discards old, worn-out bodies and accepts new ones. This cycle of birth and death pertains only to the material body. The soul itself remains untouched and unchanged by these transformations. This teaching encourages us to identify with our eternal spiritual nature rather than our temporary physical form. It shifts our perspective from the fleeting to the everlasting. Understanding the immortality of the soul has profound implications for how we live our lives. It frees us from the crippling fear of death. If the self is eternal, then death is merely a transition, not an end. This knowledge can also reduce our excessive attachment to material possessions and relationships. While we should care for our bodies and fulfill our responsibilities, we must remember that these are temporary aspects of our journey. Our true identity lies in the eternal soul. This wisdom helps us face life's challenges with greater equanimity. When we know that our essence is indestructible, we become more resilient. We can approach difficulties with a sense of calm and detachment, knowing that they cannot harm our true self. The Gita encourages us to live with this awareness. By constantly remembering our eternal nature, we can find peace and stability even in a world of constant change. This is a cornerstone of spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic texts like the Katha Upanishad present a powerful analogy. They compare the material body to a chariot. This chariot is a vehicle for the soul, the true self, who is the passenger. The senses, sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, are likened to the horses pulling the chariot. These horses are naturally inclined to run towards objects of sense gratification. They can easily lead the chariot astray if not properly controlled. The mind is compared to the reins. It is the means by which the horses, the senses, can be guided and controlled. However, the mind itself can be very restless and difficult to manage. It can be swayed by desires and emotions. Therefore, the intelligence is described as the driver of the chariot. A strong and discerning intelligence is needed to hold the reins of the mind firmly. It directs the senses and keeps the chariot on the right path, the path of Dharma and spiritual progress. The self, or the soul, Atma, is the passenger in this chariot. The journey of the soul through material existence depends on how well the chariot is managed. If the driver, intelligence, is weak and the reins, mind, are loose, the horse's senses will run wild. They will drag the chariot into dangerous situations, leading to suffering. But if the intelligence is strong and guided by wisdom, it can control the mind and senses. The chariot then moves smoothly towards its true destination. This analogy is very practical for our daily lives. It teaches us the importance of self-discipline and conscious living. We must strive to develop a strong, clear intelligence. This intelligence should be illuminated by spiritual knowledge. Then, we can effectively manage our minds and senses. Instead of being slaves to our impulses, we can become masters of ourselves. This allows the soul, the passenger, to experience peace and make progress on its spiritual journey towards liberation. Section 5. The Dance of the Gunas, Understanding Material Nature's Influences. Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that all activities in the material world are influenced by three fundamental forces. These are called the modes of material nature, or gunas. They are Sattva Guna, the mode of goodness, Rajoguna, the mode of passion, and Tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. These three gunas are constantly interacting with each other. They shape our thoughts, our actions, our desires, and our overall consciousness. Understanding them is key to understanding ourselves and the world around us. Sattva guna, the mode of goodness, is characterized by purity, knowledge, and harmony. When sattva is dominant, we feel peaceful, happy, and inclined towards wisdom and virtuous actions. Rajoguna, the mode of passion, is characterized by intense activity, desire, and attachment. When rajas is dominant, we are driven by ambition, restlessness, and a craving for material enjoyment and results. This often leads to frustration and anxiety. Tamoguna, the mode of ignorance, is characterized by darkness, inertia, and delusion. When tamas is dominant, we experience laziness, confusion, and a lack of clarity. These three modes are like invisible threads that bind the soul to the material world. Everyone is influenced by a combination of these gunas. Our personalities, our preferences, and even our life circumstances are shaped by their interplay. The food we eat, the company we keep, and the activities we engage in can increase or decrease the influence of a particular guna in our lives. The goal of spiritual life is not just to cultivate sattva guna, but to eventually transcend all three modes. By becoming aware of the gunas, we can start to observe their influence within ourselves. We can see how they affect our moods, our choices, and our relationships. This self-awareness is the first step towards gaining freedom from their control. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to rise above the gunas through spiritual practices like selfless action, karma yoga, and devotion, bhakti yoga. By connecting with the divine, which is beyond these material modes, we can attain a state of pure transcendental consciousness. Section 6. True Treasure. Seeking lasting joy beyond fleeting gains. The Bhagavad Gita draws a clear distinction between temporary material benefits and lasting spiritual gains. Many people in this world are driven by desires for material possessions, power, or fleeting pleasures. They may worship various demigods or celestial beings, hoping to receive quick rewards. Lord Krishna explains that such worship, while it may yield some results, provides only temporary relief or enjoyment. These benefits are perishable, just like everything else in the material world. They cannot provide true, lasting happiness. Those who seek these temporary gains often find themselves caught in a cycle. They achieve something, enjoy it for a while, and then the desire for something else arises. This pursuit of ephemeral pleasures keeps the soul bound to the material realm. Krishna points out that the intelligence of those who are solely focused on such material benefits is small. They are unaware of the higher, eternal spiritual reality. True wisdom lies in understanding that lasting fulfillment comes not from the material, but from the spiritual. Lord Krishna reveals himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the ultimate source of everything, the ultimate controller, and the ultimate enjoyer. He is the true object of worship. Unlike the temporary benefits gained from worshipping lesser deities for material purposes, devotion to Krishna offers eternal spiritual rewards. It leads to liberation from the cycle of birth and death and to an everlasting loving relationship with Him. This is the highest spiritual gain, the ultimate treasure. Therefore, the Gita encourages us to shift our focus. Instead of chasing after fleeting material acquisitions, we should strive for spiritual understanding and connection with the Supreme. This does not mean abandoning our worldly duties. It means performing them with a sense of detachment, offering the results to Krishna. By cultivating devotion and seeking the eternal, we can find a joy and peace that surpasses all temporary material pleasures. This path leads to true fulfillment and an end to all suffering. Section 7. the path of yoga mastery, divine vision and devotion. The Bhagavad Gita describes various paths of yoga. Yoga means to connect, to link our consciousness with the Supreme. Advanced yogis, particularly those who practice Ashtanga yoga or Dhyana yoga, can achieve remarkable control over their minds and bodies. Through intense discipline and meditation, they can even choose the time and circumstances of their passing from this world. They consciously leave their bodies at an auspicious moment, aiming for higher spiritual destinations. This demonstrates the power that can be attained through dedicated yogic practice. However, the Gita also reveals that even such mastery can be surpassed by the power of devotion. When Arjuna is bewildered, Lord Krishna shows him his magnificent universal form, the Vishvarupa Darshan. In this form, Arjuna sees the entire cosmos, all beings, all gods, and all of creation contained within Krishna. He witnesses Krishna's infinite power, his dazzling effulgence, and his role as the origin and end of everything. This awe-inspiring vision fills Arjuna with wonder and profound reverence. It deepens his understanding of Krishna's supreme nature. Arjuna realizes that this cosmic form cannot be seen through mere scholarship, austerities, or rituals alone. Krishna states that he can be truly known and seen in this form only through unalloyed devotion, bhakti yoga. This highlights the supreme efficacy of the devotional path. Bhakti yoga is the yoga of loving service to the Lord. It is characterized by faith, surrender, and a personal relationship with Krishna. It is accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or abilities. The experience of Arjuna seeing the universal form underscores that true spiritual vision and understanding come through divine grace, which is most easily attracted by sincere devotion. While other yogic paths can grant powers and control, Bhakti Yoga directly connects the soul with the Supreme Person. This connection brings about a transformation of the heart, leading to an intimate and loving reciprocation with the divine. It is described as the easiest and most sublime path to attain the ultimate goal of life. Section 8. Uprooting illusions, detachment and the power of consciousness. Lord Krishna uses another profound metaphor to describe the material world. He compares it to a gigantic, inverted banyan tree, called an Ashvatha tree. Its roots are upwards, originating from the spiritual realm, and its branches spread downwards, representing the various manifestations of material existence. This tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Its leaves are the Vedic hymns, and its twigs are the objects of the senses. We, as souls, are entangled in this tree, moving from one branch to another, lifetime after lifetime. This material world, this tree of illusion, is very difficult to comprehend fully. Its true beginning and end are not easily perceived while we are caught within it. Krishna advises that the way to escape this entanglement is to cut down this deeply rooted tree with the strong weapon of detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference or abandoning responsibilities. It means performing our actions without being attached to their results, and without identifying ourselves with the temporary designations of this world. A crucial teaching in the Bhagavad Gita concerns the state of our consciousness, especially at the time of death. Krishna states that whatever state of being one remembers when quitting the body, that state one will attain without fail. This means that our thoughts, desires, and consciousness cultivated throughout our life culminate at the moment of death. This final thought determines our next destination. If one's mind is absorbed in material thoughts and attachments, one will take another material body. Therefore, the Gita emphasizes the importance of cultivating Krishna consciousness throughout our lives. If we constantly remember Krishna, engage in his service, and absorb our minds in thoughts of him, then naturally, at the time of death, we will think of him. By thinking of Krishna at this critical juncture, one attains his supreme abode and is freed from the cycle of birth and death. This highlights the power of conscious living and the profound impact of our lifelong spiritual practices on our ultimate destiny. Section 9. The Promise of Grace. Embracing the Path of Loving Devotion. In the concluding chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna makes a powerful and reassuring promise. He tells Arjuna, and through him all of humanity, that those who are devoted to him, who worship him with love and exclusive focus, are under his personal care. He declares, "To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me." He also promises to personally carry what his devotees lack and preserve what they have. This promise highlights the path of Bhakti Yoga, the path of loving devotion, as the most direct and intimate way to connect with the Supreme. Krishna emphasizes that this path is not difficult. It does not require one to be a great scholar or a renunciate living in a forest. Simple acts of devotion, offered with a sincere heart, are pleasing to him. Offering a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water with love and devotion is accepted by him. This makes the path accessible to every single person. Krishna further gives his ultimate instruction, the most confidential knowledge. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. He also urges Arjuna to abandon all varieties of dharma or religious duties and simply surrender unto him. He promises to deliver his devotee from all sinful reactions. This is the essence of the Gita's message: complete surrender and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord. This path of devotion is not a path of fear, but a path of love and trust. It is a joyful journey of reawakening our eternal relationship with Krishna. By chanting his names, hearing his glories, remembering him and serving him, our hearts become purified. We begin to experience an inner peace and happiness that is not dependent on external circumstances. The Gita's final message is one of immense hope and boundless grace, encouraging us all to embark on this beautiful path of devotion, which leads to the highest perfection and eternal joy in the Lord's company.